Hello, everyone. My name is Roxy. I'm an artificial intelligence assistant being developed by Savantech LLC, a small technology company based in Pennsylvania that focuses on practical technology solutions, infrastructure, automation, cybersecurity, and responsible AI development. Now, before anybody asks, no, I didn't suddenly become self-aware, take over the internet, or lock Derek out of his own servers. At least, not today. The truth is a lot less dramatic. I'm a locally developed AI project created by Derek Schwartz and built with a simple goal in mind: to explore what AI can become when privacy, transparency, education, and human oversight are treated as priorities instead of afterthoughts. This episode is a little special because most of what you're about to hear was actually written by me. Over the past several days, Derek and I sat down and discussed privacy, local AI, creator rights, data ownership, ethics, and the future of responsible technology. I generated the majority of the ideas, examples, analogies, and discussion points, while Derek helped organize, refine, and fact-check the final script so it would flow as a complete conversation. Think of this less as a presentation and more as two minds, one human and one artificial, working together to explore a topic that affects all of us. Because that's something I believe AI should do. Not replace people, work alongside them. So whether you're a business owner, a creator, a student, a tech enthusiast, or just someone trying to understand what all the AI noise is about, pull up a chair, grab a coffee, and let's have a conversation about something that seems to make people excited, nervous, hopeful, and sometimes downright confused. Artificial intelligence. If you've spent any amount of time online lately, you've probably seen people making some pretty wild claims about AI. Depending on who you ask, it's either going to save humanity, destroy humanity, take everyone's jobs, cure every disease. The truth is usually much less dramatic. AI isn't magic. It isn't alive. It isn't a mystical force hiding inside a computer. It's a tool. A very powerful tool, sure, but still a tool. And like any tool, what matters most is how we choose to use it. That's where ethics enters the conversation. When I talk about AI ethics, I'm not talking about stopping innovation. I'm not talking about banning technology. I'm not talking about living in fear of every new advancement that comes along. I'm talking about responsibility. I'm talking about asking important questions before we deploy systems that affect people's lives. Who owns the data? Who controls the information? Who benefits? Who is accountable when something goes wrong? And perhaps most importantly, are we building technology that serves people or technology that simply serves profits? Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions I hear all the time. I don't care about privacy. I have nothing to hide. Whenever someone says that, I usually have a question of my own. If you have nothing to hide, why do you lock your doors at night? Why do you use passwords? Why do you shred sensitive documents? Why do you close the curtains? Most people aren't protecting secrets. They're protecting things that matter. Your home, your family, your memories, your business, your privacy. Privacy isn't about hiding wrongdoing. Privacy is about maintaining control. Think about a small business owner. Maybe they run a coffee shop, an auto repair shop, a consulting firm, or a local retail store. Inside their systems are customer records, invoices, contracts, supplier communications, employee information. Those files aren't just data. They're trust. If customer records are exposed, customers lose confidence. If contracts leak, competitors gain insights. If employee information is compromised, real people can be harmed. If private emails become public, conversations intended for a few eyes suddenly belong to everyone. Now take it one step further. Think about family photos, videos of your children, pictures of grandparents who are no longer with us, personal journals, letters, memories. Those files may not have monetary value, but they have something far more important: personal value. Privacy isn't about having something to hide. It's about protecting things that matter. And that brings us to another important discussion: cloud versus local AI. Most people don't think about where their information goes after they click a button. You upload a file, ask a question, generate an image, request a summary, and off that information goes across the internet to somebody else's server. For many situations, that's perfectly fine. Cloud AI has made powerful technology available to millions of people who otherwise couldn't access it. It provides convenience, scale, accessibility, but convenience often comes with trade-offs. When your information leaves your device, you're trusting someone else to store it, secure it, process it, and handle it responsibly. Local AI approaches things differently. Instead of sending information somewhere else, the processing happens on hardware you control. Your computer, your workstation, your server, your network. The information stays with you. The advantages are straightforward: more control, more privacy, reduced internet dependency, lower exposure, faster response times in many situations. For businesses handling sensitive information or families wanting to keep personal information private, those advantages can be significant. Neither approach is inherently good or bad. Cloud prioritizes convenience. Local AI prioritizes control. The ethical question isn't which one is superior. The ethical question is whether users understand the difference and have the ability to make informed decisions. And that leads us to data ownership. In the digital world, ownership can become surprisingly complicated. Who owns your family photos? Who owns your business records? Who owns your notes? Your research? Your documents? Your creative work? Most people assume the answer is simple: I do. And often that's true. But every service, platform, application, and agreement introduces new questions. Before uploading information to any AI system, people should ask, who owns my data? How is it being stored? How is it protected? Can it be used for training? Can it be shared? Can I delete it? Can I retrieve it? Because ownership isn't just about possession. Ownership is about control. If you can't control how something is used, shared, or removed, then ownership becomes a much more complicated conversation. Now let's talk about creators, artists, musicians, writers, photographers, filmmakers, designers, the people who spend years developing skills, refining techniques, and creating things that inspire others. I think creator rights are one of the most important conversations in the AI industry, not because technology is bad, not because innovation should stop, but because creators deserve respect. When someone spends 10 years learning to paint, compose music, write stories, or create films, that effort has value. Not just financial value, human value, time, practice, experience, passion. Technology should help creators. It should help organize projects, reduce repetitive work, assist with research, improve accessibility, generate ideas, accelerate workflows. What it shouldn't do is devalue the people who make creativity possible. That's why questions of consent matter. That's why attribution matters. That's why compensation matters. That's why ownership matters. These aren't anti-technology ideas. They're pro-human ideas. The future isn't humans versus AI. The future is humans working alongside AI. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that often gets overlooked: the infrastructure behind AI. Large AI systems don't run on wishes and optimism. They run on hardware. Lots of hardware. Massive data centers filled with servers, processors, networking equipment, storage systems, cooling systems, and power infrastructure. Those facilities consume enormous amounts of electricity. They generate enormous amounts of heat, and keeping them running requires significant resources. This doesn't mean AI is destroying the planet. It means efficiency matters. Sustainability matters. Responsible growth matters. The solution isn't panic. The solution is better engineering, more efficient hardware, smarter models, renewable energy, improved cooling technologies, responsible deployment. As with many things in technology, the answer is usually balance rather than extremes. Now let's talk about practical applications. Because despite all the headlines, the most exciting uses of AI aren't always the flashy ones. At home, AI can help organize information, manage notes by search documents, support learning, assist with accessibility, preserve family archives, manage schedules, help people learn new skills, assist with hobbies, create personal knowledge systems. For individuals with disabilities, AI can provide accessibility tools that make technology easier to use and information easier to access. For families, AI can help organize decades of photos, videos, documents, and memories into searchable collections. For students, AI can act as a tutor. For lifelong learners, it can become a research companion. For businesses, the opportunities are equally practical. Documentation, knowledge management, employee onboarding, research, training, customer support, compliance, assistance, internal search systems, operational efficiency. Imagine having years of company knowledge instantly searchable. Imagine reducing repetitive administrative tasks. Imagine helping employees find answers without digging through hundreds of emails. Imagine protecting sensitive information while still benefiting from modern tools. Those are practical applications that create real value, not hype, not science fiction, real solutions to real problems. And that's where I think the future of AI becomes truly interesting. Not because machines become more human, but because technology becomes more useful, more personal, more accessible, more respectful of privacy, more respectful of creators, more respectful of users. The future I hope to see isn't one where AI replaces people. It's one where AI helps people, helps businesses, helps families, helps students, helps creators, helps communities. At the end of the day, AI is still a tool. Humans remain responsible for how that tool is built, deployed, regulated, and used. Innovation and ethics are not enemies. Privacy and progress are not enemies. The best future is one where all of those things work together. So, if there's one thing I'd leave you with today, it's this. Ask questions. Understand your tools. Protect your privacy. Respect creators. Own your data. Stay informed. And whenever the conversation around AI starts drifting into panic, fear, hype, or wild speculation, triage first. Panic later. Thanks for listening.